for online examinations. I'm making this video. I will be stressing upon key points so that you be well prepared for your final examination. So before we move on, let's try to understand the title. If you see, you have an engine here, you have a man who looks a little confused, who looks a little troubled. So when you see engine, this is the engine, and trouble, this fellow is troubled. So engine is a little big one. It's a roller, road roller, so it's obviously a big one. So you can understand this title as a big trouble. Before we move on, let's try to know about something about R.K. Narayan. So who is R.K. Narayan? His lifespan is from 1906 to 2001. He was an Indian novelist. He created Malgudi, an imaginary town, and which forms setting of most of his work. He has realistic setting, realistic character. His famous works are The Guide, Swami and Friends, Malgudi Days, and he has translated Ramayana. So let's try to understand the story word by word. There came down to a town some years ago, said the talkative man, a showman owning an institution called the Gaiety Land. So talkative man, he said some years ago, a showman came in their town and he brought an institution. What is an institution? A kind of organization or a program. It was called the Gaiety Land. So when you look at this title, this Gaiety means actually lively celebrations and festivities. So there was a kind of fair in the town. Overnight, our Gymkhana ground became resplendent with banners and streamers and colored lamps. Overnight, our Gymkhana ground. So this Gaiety Land was set up at Gymkhana ground and it became resplendent. It became attractive and colorful with banners, streamers and colored lamps. Streamers means narrow strips which are used for decorations or for symbols. From all over the district, crowd poured into the show. So from all over the town or district, people came to watch the show. Within a week of opening, just first week, in gate money, through gate alone, they collected nearly 500 rupees a day. Every day, first week, they were earning 500 rupees. Remember this. This is important point. Gaiety Land provided us with all sorts of fun and gambling and side shows. So in Gaiety Land, there were all sorts of fun like gambling and side shows. For a couple of annas in each booth, we could watch anything from performing parrots to crack motorcyclists looping the loop in the dome of death. So if you had just couple of annas with you, currency, in each booth you could go there and pay a couple of annas and you could enjoy parrots performance or expert motorcyclists performing parrots and expert motorcyclists. They were running in the loop in the dome of death. Dome of death, like we call Maut Ka Kuwa. It's very common in India in circus and in Gaiety Land. In addition to this, there were lotteries. There were lotteries also, shooting galleries, where for an anna you always stood a chance of winning 100 rupees. So there were lotteries. What are lotteries? It's a kind of means of raising money by selling numbered ticket. A person who gets the number, he gets the prize. So just for an anna you could participate in lotteries and shooting galleries. These were some games, and suppose if you win you could get 100 rupees. There were particular corner of the show which was in great favor. So in particular corner of the show there was huge crowd. They were very excited. Here, for a ticket costing 8 annas, if you had just 8 annas ticket, you stood a chance of acquiring a variety of articles. So if you had just 8 annas, you could win variety of articles like pin cushions, sewing machines, cameras, or even a rolled engine. So with just 8 annas, you could win pin cushions, sewing machines, cameras, or a rolled engine. On one evening, they drew a ticket number 1005. Remember the number of this ticket? I happened to own other half of the ticket. So what happened? One evening they drew a ticket in lottery, and the number of the ticket was 1005. Remember, it's very important one. It can be asked in exam. And I means talkative man or the writer happened to own this ticket. Glancing down the list of articles, they declared that I became the owner of the road engine. So this is very important one. Through this ticket 1005, I became the owner of the road engine. The writer or talkative man, he won a road engine in the lottery. Don't ask me how a road engine came to be included among the prizes. Now he is also shocked, and he says, don't ask me how it came to be included in the prizes, because normally we do not get this kind of prize in games, but it was there. It's more than I can tell you. I looked stunned. So he was stunned, he was surprised when he found that road engine as a prize, and he is owner of this road engine now because he has won this lottery. People gathered around, gazed at me as if I was some curious animal, and everybody was shocked. They were gathered and they were staring at me. At me means talkative man or the writer, and as if he says he was a curious animal, as if some animal has come to that place. They were looking at the talkative man. Fancy anyone becoming the owner of a road engine? Some person muttered and giggled. Some people, they were saying, oh my god, it's quite surprising that somebody is becoming the owner of a road engine. And they were muttering, they were whispering, and they were giggling, they were laughing also. They were making fun of a talkative man who has won a road engine as a prize in the lottery. So it was not the sort of prize one could carry home at short notice. So you can imagine, suppose if you win a prize, this sort of prize, the road engine is very big, you cannot carry this at home at short notice. I asked the showman, the proprietor or manager of that Getty land, if he would help me transport it. So this talkative man, he went to the showman who is a proprietor or manager of the Getty land, and he asked him for his help. He wanted him to help him to transport this road engine to his place. He merely pointed at a notice which decreed that all winners should remove the prize immediately on drawing and by their own effort. So what was written? That all winners should remove the prize immediately. They should not keep their prize there. They should remove them immediately from the place. However, they had to make an exception in my case, but they made some exception in his case because this road engine was very big, so they gave him some concession, some exception to the talkative man or to the writer. They agreed to keep the engine on the Gymkhana ground till the end of their season, and then I would have to make my own arrangements to take it out. So they agreed that they will keep it till this season ends. After that, a talkative man or the writer has to make his own arrangements to carry it from here to his home. When I asked showman if he could find me a driver, he just smiled. So this I means talkative man or writer, he asked showman if he could help him to find a driver so that he can steer it to his home. But showman said, the fellow who brought it here had to be paid 100 rupees for a job and 5 rupees a day. He says the driver who was here, who was driving this road engine, he had to be paid 100 rupees for the job and 5 rupees a day. I sent him away and made up my mind that if no one was going to draw it, I would just leave it to its fate. So showman said, I had decided that if no one will win it or no one will draw it, I will leave it to its fate. I will not do it anything. I will leave it to the ground, and we will remove our booth and Gaiety Land from here. I got it down just as a novelty for the show. So he says that why I brought it here in the Gaiety Land, just a kind of novelty. Novelty means something new or something strange. He wanted to actually attract people to his Gaiety Land with this kind of prize. That's why he had brought this to his show. Now he says that, God, what a bother it has proved. What a problem it has proved for me. He says that, the showman. Then he says, talkative man, can't I sell it to some municipality? I asked innocently. He burst into a laugh. He started laughing, the showman. As a showman, he said, I have enough troubles with municipal people. I would rather keep out of their way. He says, I do not want to involve with municipal people because I had already had so much trouble with them in setting up my show here in this Gymkhana ground. So I cannot talk to them. So he refused to help him. Then my friends and well-wishers pour in to congratulate me on my latest acquisition. So talkative man says, my friends, his friends and well-wishers, they came to congratulate him for his latest acquisition. Acquisition means something which is acquired or which is bought. Yes, it means that road engine. No one knew precisely how much a road engine would fetch. All the same, they felt that there was a lot of money in it. So no one knew how much this road engine fetch will bring the amount for the talkative man. Even if you sell it as scrap iron, you can make a few thousand, some of my friends declared. But some of my friends said, even if nobody buy it, you can sell it in scrap and you can make few thousand rupees. You can make few thousand rupees. Every day I made a trip to Gymkhana ground to have a look at my engine. So he went home, but every day he was coming and he was looking at engine at the Gymkhana ground. I grew very fond of it. He started liking it. I loved its shining brass parts. So it was made of brass metal. So talkative man was coming there and he was looking at this shining brass parts of this engine. I stood near it and petted it affectionately, hovered about it, returned home every day only at the close of the show. So the whole day he was there with that road engine. Now he says, I was a poor man. He was a very poor man, the showman. I thought that after all my troubles were coming to an end. Not showman, the talkative man. He says that I was a very poor man. I thought that after all my troubles were coming to an end. How ignorant we are. How little did I guess that my troubles had just begun. He says, I thought I am very poor. My troubles are gone now, but I didn't know that these are the real trouble has just come in my life. So when the showman took down his booth and packed up, I received a notice from municipality. Now this is the end of the season for the Gaiety Land. The showman, he removed his booth. Booth means temporary tents and shelters, and they started packing up. When they place something in container, when they for transportation, they are moving from there, so they are packing up. I received a notice from municipality to attend to my road engine. So this talkative man, he received a notice from municipality to remove the engine from the Gymkhana ground. When I went there next day, it looked forlorn with no one about. So he says, when I went there next day, no one was there. It was just forlorn. It was deserted. The ground was littered with torn streamers, paper decorations, because the Getty land was removed from there. They had packed up. So what was remaining next day? Just torn streamers and paper decorations, the remnants of the Getty land. The showman had moved on. They have gone. The showman, he had gone from there, leaving the engine where it stood. It was perfectly safe anywhere, but it was perfectly safe because it was very big engine. No one could carry it. No one could break it, as it was made of brass metal. So it was safe there. Now he says that then I left it alone for a few days. Where? At the Gymkhana ground. Who left it? Talkative man, the writer, not knowing what to do with it. Now he is confused. He doesn't know what to do with this road engine. I received a notice from municipality ordering that engine should at once be removed from the ground, as otherwise they would charge rent for the occupation of Gymkhana ground. They will charge rent. So municipality gave him a notice and told him to remove the engine as soon as possible, otherwise they will charge rent for the occupation of the Gymkhana ground, because this is government property, public property. He is not allowed to keep his private possession over there. So they sent him a notice. After deep thought, I consented to pay the rent. So after deep thought, the writer thought that he would pay the rent. What was the rent? I paid 10 rupees a month for the next 3 months. 10 rupees a month for the next 3 months. Remember this, 10 rupees a month. So how much amount he paid to the municipality for as a rent to keep the engine at the Gymkhana ground? So you should know that 10 rupees a month for next 3 days. Now he told them, dear sirs, I was a very poor man. Even the house which I and my wife occupied cost me only 4 rupees a month. So the rent is 4 rupees a month, his house rent, but the rent for the road engine is 10 rupees. So it is, you can imagine, it's out of his budget. And fancy my paying 10 rupees a month for the road engine. And he says he's surprised that he's an idiot to pay 10 rupees a month for the road engine and just 4 rupees rent for a month for his house. It cut into my slender budget. Slender means, the barely sufficient. His budget was very poor. No, it was not the big, it was very small budget. So it cut his budget. I had to pledge to a jewel or two belonging to my wife. Now he had to put the jewelries of his wife on mortgage or promise them to someone to pay the rent of his house and the road engine. And every day my wife was asking me what I proposed to do with this terrible property of mine, and I had no answer to give her. And every day he says that his wife was asking him about road engine with this terrible property. Writer calls this property as terrible property because it is not easily movable. So he's in trouble because of this property. So that's why writer mentions this property as a terrible property, but he has no answer. I went up and down offering it for a sale to all and sundry. All and sundry means to everyone. I went everywhere. I wanted to sell this to everyone, each and everyone. But someone told him that the secretary of the local cosmopolitan club might be interested in it. The secretary of the local cosmopolitan club may buy it. Someone suggested him. When I approached him, he laughed and asked what he should do with the road engine. So when he went to the secretary of the local cosmopolitan club to sell him the engine, he started laughing and he said what he should do with the road engine. Then I said, I will dispose of it at a concession for you. You have a tennis court to be rolled every morning. I began. Even before I saw him smile, I knew it was a stupid thing to say. Then he said, talkative man, I will sell it for a concession. I will give you concession. You have very big tennis court, so you can get it rolled every morning with this road engine. I began, and even before I saw him smile, I knew it was a stupid thing to say. I thought I said something stupid to that secretary. Next, someone suggested, see the municipal chairman. Someone told me, just you talk to municipal chairman. Now next visit will be municipal chairman. He may buy it for the municipality. Someone told that. With great trepidation. Trepidation means actually nervousness when you are in a very excited state of mind. So in nervousness, the great nervousness, I went to municipal office one day. He went there. I buttoned up my coat. He buttoned up his coat as he entered the chairman's room and mentioned my business. I was prepared to give away the engine at a great concession. So I had intention of selling this, disposing of this engine with a great concession if somebody wants to buy it. I started a great harangue on municipal duties. See, harangue means, speech, a public speech, like which is delivered in a very forcible way. So this talkative man says that he started a kind of speech on municipal duties. He started appreciating them, the municipal people. He was buttering them so that they could buy it. The regime of the chairman, he was talking about the regime, the rule of the chairman, importance of owning a road roller. So he was telling them if they buy road roller, it will help them a lot. So I was done with him. I knew there was a greater chance of my selling it to some child on the roadside for playing with. So he says I was done with the chairman also. So he thought it's better to sell it to some child so that he can play on road, because these people know the secretary of the local cosmopolitan club and the municipal chairman, they are not going to buy it. So it's better to sell it to some child so that he can play on a roadside with this. So next one, he says that I was making myself a bankrupt maintaining this engine in the Gymkhana ground. So he had to pay a lot of money to as a rent. So here he was saying that he was becoming a bankrupt maintaining this road engine. I really hoped someday there would come my way a lump sum and make amends for all this deficit and suffering. So he actually he is hopeful that someday he will get lump sum amount and he will make amends for all his loss, all his deficit and suffering, whatever he is suffering now, whatever he is spending in future. He says definitely I'm going to get some amount out of this, out of the sale of this road engine, and I will be happy in future. He believes that. Fresh complications arose when a cattle show came in the offing. Now he says that suddenly some fresh complications came when there was a cattle show in the Gymkhana ground. It was to be held on the ground, Gymkhana ground. I was given 24 hours for getting the thing out of the ground. So that this talkative man was given just 24 hours. Remember this 24 hours to vacate this ground. The show was opening in a 1 week. Advance party was arriving and insisting upon having the engine out of the way. The show was going to open next week and the party was coming there, and they were telling him, forcing him to take the engine out of the Gymkhana ground. I became desperate. There was not a single person for 50 miles around who knew anything about road engine, and nobody knew about this road engine. No one, everybody, this road engine was new for everyone. I begged and cringed every passing bus driver to help me, but without use. So he started begging, asking help for every driver, bus driver, to drive it to his home, but without use. But nobody was helping him. I even approached the station master to put it word with the male engine driver. So he went to station master also to request a male engine driver to steer it. But the engine driver pointed out that he had his own locomotive to mind and couldn't think of jumping off at a wayside station for anybody's sake. But that engine driver said he has his own locomotive. Locomotives means, the railway engine to drive. He doesn't have time to drive this road engine on road. So he says that he was very busy. Meanwhile, the municipality was pressing me to clear out, but the municipality was forcing him that please clear this out from this place. I thought it over. I saw the priest of the local temple manage to gain his sympathy. Then he met the priest of the local temple and started to have his sympathy. He offered me the services of his temple elephant. He says, I will give you the temple elephant. I also engaged 50 coolies. See, one elephant, he took one elephant and 50 coolies to push the engine from behind. You may be sure this drained all my resources. So he says, actually, when he took temple on rent, when he hired 50 coolies, you can imagine that he needed a lot of money, and because of that, his uh, everything, his whole resources, whatever money he was remaining with him, it was depleted, or he became empty. He didn't have anything with him. All the resources were drained now. The coolies wanted 8 annas per head, and temple elephant cost me 7 rupees a day. Remember this. 80 annas. The coolies were asking 8 annas per head. 8 annas per head. And there were 50 coolies. So an elephant costed him 7 rupees. It cost him 7 rupees a day. I had to give it one field at one time. My plan was to take the engine out of the gymkhana and then down to the road to a field half a furlong off. Furlong means, uh, around 200 meters away from the ground. So it was his plan with the elephant and these 50 coolies to push this engine at least 200 meters away from the ground. The field was owned by my friend. There was a field nearby which was owned by his friend. He would not mind if I kept the engine there for a couple of months when I could go to Madras and find a customer for it. He says that he will get it pushed to his friend's ground. His friend own a ground, so he will get it pushed there, and he'll go to Madras to find a customer so that he or she can buy this road engine. I also took into service one Joseph. So there is one fellow, his name is Joseph. He took his help. He is a dismissed bus driver. So he's you can say dismissed bus driver, who said that although he knew nothing of road rollers, he could nevertheless steer one if it was somehow kept in motion. So there is one fellow, his name is Joseph. Remember this name, very important one. He is a dismissed bus driver. He is ready to steer the road engine. Steer means to direct or drive the road engine, because he knows how to do that, but he wants someone to push it. If it is in motion, he can drive. So it was a fine sight. Now he is happy now. The talkative man or the writer, he is happy. The temple elephant were yoked. Yoked means they were tied to the engine by means of stout rope. Stout means very strong ropes, with 50 determined men pushing it from the behind. And 50 men, as I told you, 50 coolies, they were pushing it from behind. My friend Joseph sitting in the driving seat. A huge crowd stood around and watched in a great glee, and people were clapping, they were laughing, and they were in great glee. They were in extreme happiness. They were enjoying the scene. The engine began to move. It seemed to me the greatest moment in my life. Because why greatest moment? Because he wanted to get rid of this road engine. That's why he's very happy that at least the engine is going to be driven away from this place. When it came out of the gymkhana, reached the road, it began to behave in a very strange manner. When this engine came out of gymkhana ground, hopefully, but it started behaving in a very strange manner. Instead of going straight down the road, it showed tendency to wobble and zigzag. Instead of going straight, this road engine started wobbling, mean trembling, or quivering, or it was moving irregularly in a zigzag way. It means the driver lost control of this road engine. The elephant dragged it one way. Joseph turned the wheel for all he was worth without any idea of where he was going. Now Joseph turned the wheel for all with all his might, and he didn't know where he was driving this road engine. And 50 men, they were clung to it. They were stuck to it. It was out of control. It in every possible manner and pushed it just where they liked. As a result of all this confused dragging, the engine ran straight into the opposite compound wall, reduced a good length of it powder. So suddenly what happened, because of this confused dragging, everybody was pushing, pulling and dragging this road engine. As a result of that, this road engine hit a wall, compound wall, and it made it a powder. It crushed, collapsed it to the powder. It became because if you see road engines are very big, so they are used to roll the rocks and bricks. So you can imagine the condition of the wall here. At this, the crowd let our joys yell. Now the crowd started yelling, shouting. The elephant, disliking the behavior of the crowd, trumpeted loudly. Now trumpet, what is trumpet? There is no trumpet, like to make the sound. So what is happening here? Suddenly the trumpeted loudly. Elephant strained and snapped its rope. He strained, he forced and snap. Snap means suddenly suddenly cut something. No. So what did he do? He break the rope with sudden movement and kicked down a further length of wall. The 50 men fled in panic. These 50 men, they ran away from there. The crowd created a pandemonium. What is pandemonium? Utter confusion. So everybody was in utter confusion. They were running here and there. 50 men also ran away from the scene. Someone slapped me in the face. It was the owner of the compound wall. The police came on the scene and marched me off. Then the owner of that compound wall slapped me. Slapped me means talkative man for this behavior, for all of this destruction. And the police came on the scene and marched me off, took the talkative man off from the scene. So he was in jail for some time, this talkative man. So he says, when I was released from the lockup, from the jail, I found the following consequences. So he found the following consequences which were awaiting him. So what were these consequences? There are 5 points here. Several yards of compound wall to be built. So this was remaining when he came out of the jail. So he had to do so many things. First was to mend the destroyed wall, which was destroyed by his road engine. Second, the wages of 50 men who ran away, and the wages of 50 men who ran away from the scene. They would not explain how they were entitled to the wages when they had not done their job, but they had done their job irrespective of their wrong job, but they had to be paid their wages. Third one, Joseph's fee for steering the engine over the wall. Joseph means the dismissed driver. Even his fees also. The cost of the medicine for treating the knee of temple elephant, because temple elephant was injured when he was kicking down the wall. So again, the temple authorities would not listen when I pointed out that I didn't engage an elephant to break a wall. It was actually the temple authorities even would not listen when he told them that the elephant was not engaged in breaking the wall. And the fifth one, last but not the least, the demand to move the engine out of its present station. So again, it was near that collapsed wall now. Now it is now the very big task for him to move the engine from this place. First, he had to move the engine from Gymkhana ground. Now he has to remove this engine from uh, this place where this accident has met. Now he says, sirs, I was a poor man. I really could not find any means of paying these bill. Now he says, I don't have any money to pay all these bill. When I went home, his wife told him, what is this I hear about you everywhere? I took the opportunity to explain my difficulties. She took it as a hint that I was again asking for her jewels, and she lost her temper, cried that she would write to her father to come and take her away. Now, what happened? His wife is very angry with him now, and she says that now she will not stay with him, and she thinks that he has come for her jewelry again to pay all his bills, and she says that she is going to go to her father's place. Now she will no more stay with him. Now then what happened? He says that I was at my wits end, and people smiled at me when they met me in the street. Now I was at my wits end. What is that? You have to remember this. I was at my wits end. Wits end means I was not able to think of a solution. What is right, what is wrong? People smiled, he says that, at me when they met me in the street. When people met him, they were laughing for his foolish behavior. I was seriously wondering why I should not run away to my village. Now he is thinking to run away or abscond from the place to his village. Remember this one. I decided to encourage my wife to write to her father and arrange for her exit. Now he says that he told his wife that you can go to your father's home now. Not a soul was going to know what my plan were. He says if he runs away from this place and goes to his village, no one will know where he will be. I was going to put off my creditors and disappear one night. Remember, this is very important. It has been asked several times. So what did he think to do? He thought to put off. Put off means to get rid of his creditors and disappear one fine night to his village. At this point came an unexpected relief in the shape of Swamiji. But suddenly there was a relief for this man, writer, this talkative man, in the form of Swamiji. One fine evening, under distinguished patronage of our municipal chairman, a show was held in a small town hall. So this, because of under the leadership of municipal chairman, there was a show in our small town. It was a free performance and hall was packed with people. So it was a very free performance and hall was completely packed. I sat in the gallery. Spellbound, we witnessed the Swamiji's yogic feat. And Swamiji was performing yoga there. And feats means, the different actions to show his skills. So he was doing that, the different asanas and skills. He was showing that there, Swamiji. He bit off glass tumbler. So he bit off glass tumblers, ate them with contentment. He lay on spike board. Spike board means, the board with big nails. He gargled and drank all kinds of acid. He was showing certain kind of his skills, and you can say a certain kind of magic. Licked white hot iron rods, chewed and swallowed sharp nails. He was chewing and swallowing sharp nails. Stopped his heartbeat. He stopped his heartbeat, this Swamiji, and buried himself underground, alive, alive. So it was certain kind of magic for people. So we sat there, watched him in stupefaction. So he says we sat there and we were enjoying his performance in stupefaction. Means when you become surprised, when you lose sensitivity. No, you are awe struck with this kind of performance. You are mesmerized, you are astonished with this performance, so same way they were astonished with this kind of performance. At the end of it, he got up and delivered a speech in which he declared that he was carrying on his master's message to the people in his manner. The Swamiji in the end stood and gave one speech. He had brought one message from his master. His performance was the more remarkable because he had nothing to gain by all this extraordinary meal except the satisfaction of severe humanity. How he said he was coming to every masterpiece and the last act. Now he says that he has one more thing to show you, and that was his last masterpiece. Now we will see what is that. He looked at the municipal chairman and asked. The Swamiji asked the municipal chairman, and he is going to show his last trick. Now what did he say? Swamiji, have you had a road engine? He asked municipal chairman, because municipal chairman, he is sponsoring this program, and it is happening under his actually he is in charge. So he asked him that have you got a road engine? I would like to have it driven over my chest. And what is his last trick? He would like to have it driven over his chest. This, he wants a road engine so that he can show a trick. He will get this road engine driven over his chest. The chairman looked abashed, confused. The chairman was shocked. How can someone have the load of a road engine on his chest? But he was ashamed also to acknowledge that he had none, that he didn't have any road engine. He was ashamed also. Who? Chairman. The Swamiji insisted. He continued telling him that I must have a road engine. But he continuously tells him that he must have a road engine. Then the municipal chairman tried to put him off by saying, the municipal chairman says that he tries to put him off, tries to pacify him, and tells him that there is no driver. The Swamiji replied, don't worry about it. My assistant has been trained to handle any kind of road engine. He says, I have an assistant who can handle or drive this road engine. At this point, I stood up in gallery and shouted. And I means talkative man. He was sitting there and he shouted, don't ask him for an engine. Ask me, because he has got road engine, this talkative man. In a moment, I was on the stage. Suddenly, the Swamiji called him on the stage. Him means talkative man. And became as important a person as fire eater himself. And he became a very important person, like a fire eater on the stage who was showing certain tricks. I was pleased with the recognition I now received from all quarters. The municipal chairman went into the background. Now nobody was talking about municipal chairman because he was the chief guest, but now I became the chief guest. I as a narrator. In return for lending him engine, he would drive it where it wanted. In return, he said, if you borrow me this engine, I would drive him wherever you want. Though I felt inclined to ask for a money contribution, I knew it would be useless to expect it from one who was a missionary work. First he thought, talkative man or narrator, to take money from Swamiji, but he thought he is on missionary work, so he will not ask money from him, but only he will ask him to carry it to its right place. Soon the whole gathering was at the compound wall opposite to the gymkhana. Swamiji's assistant was an expert in handling engines. He in short, while my engine steamed up proudly, they started the engine. It was gratifying sight. It was a very satisfying sight for talkative man. The Swami called for 2 pillows. He called 2 pillows, placed one near his head and other at his feet. He gave detailed instructions as to how the engine would be run over him. He made a chalk mark on his chest, said, it must go exactly on this, not on inch this way or that way. Now he's showing his trick now. The engine hissed and waited. The crowd watching the show became suddenly unhappy and morose. Morose means uh, sullen. They become inactive, the crowd. This seemed to be a terrible thing to be doing. They thought, oh my god, it's very terrible thing that Swamiji may die with this kind of trick, with this kind of magic, you can say. The Swami lay down on the pillow and said, when I say Om, drive it on. The Swami ji, he laid down on his pillow and he said, when I say Om, you just drive it on my chest. He told his assistant who was driving this road engine. He closed his eyes. The crowd watched tensely. Everybody was tense. I looked at the whole show in absolute rapture. Absolute rapture means, in happiness or in a great excitement, you can say. Road engine was going to get on the move. Why was he happy? Because for the first time road engine is going to get on the move. For the first time it will be driven by someone. Next one. At this point the police inspector came into the crowd with a brown envelope in his hand. Then suddenly what happened? A police inspector came at the scene with a brown envelope. Remember this, the brown envelope. He held up his hand, beckoned to Swamiji's assistant and said, I am sorry, I have to tell you that you cannot go on with this. You cannot show all your skills here. The police said to Swamiji, the magistrate has issued an order prohibiting the engine from running over him. He said, you cannot do that. The magistrate has given you order. The Swamiji picked himself up. He got up. There was a lot of commotion, noise. Swamiji became indignant. He became angry. He said, I have done it hundred of places. Nobody questioned me about. Nobody can stop me from doing what I like. It's my master's order to demonstrate the power of yoga to the people of this country. And who can question me? A magistrate can, said the police inspector and held up the order. What business is it of yours? He is to interfere in this manner. Now, Swamiji says, you cannot interfere in my business. What business has this magistrate got to interfere in my business? I don't know all that. This is his order. The police says, he permits you to do everything except swallow potassium cyanide, run engine over his chest. You are free to do whatever you like outside our jurisdiction. Now the police said, you cannot swallow potassium cyanide or run engine over your chest. You can do whatever you want to do, but you cannot do these two things in our jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means, a area where a court or any official, they have got authority, in particular area. It's called limit or jurisdiction. Next, Swamiji says, I am leaving this cursed place this very minute. He got angry, indignant. He says, I am leaving this cursed place now. The Swamiji said, in a great rage, great anger, he started to go, followed by his assistant. I gripped his assistant's arm and said, you have steamed up. It means engine. Why not take it over to that field? Why don't you take it over to that field and then go? He glared at me. He looked fiercely, angrily at me, at the narrator, shook off my hand and muttered, with my guru so unhappy, how dare you ask me to drive? He said, my guru is so angry, how can you tell him to drive your engine to the field? He went away. I muttered, you can't drive it except over his chest, I suppose. In his silently talkative man or narrator said, you could drive it over his chest, but you cannot take it from one place to another. I made preparation to leave the town in a couple of days. Now who I? Narrator. Leaving the engine to its fate with all its commitment. However, nature came to my rescue in an unexpected manner. But suddenly what happened? And now he got very troubled, puzzled, bewildered. Narrator. Now he decided that he would leave this road engine to its fate. He will leave it to that place wherever it is, and to its fate. But suddenly what happened? The nature came to his rescue, to my rescue. Nature tried to help him in an unexpected way. There was very unexpected help from the nature. You may have heard of the earthquake. He says you might have heard of the earthquake of that year. That year there was a very fierce earthquake which destroyed the whole town in northern India. There was reverberation. What is reverberation? Echo, no, echo or vibration of it in our town. The whole town was vibrating too. We were thrown out of our beds that night. Doors and windows rattled. Now he says that we were in our homes when this earthquake struck our town. There was huge everywhere in the town. Everybody was shaking. There were a lot of vibration everywhere, and we were thrown out of our beds. Doors and windows, they were rattled. They were creating noise. Then he says, next morning I went over to take a last look at my engine before leaving the town. Next morning when he got up, he thought to take the last look at his road engine. I could hardly believe my eyes. He says that, narrator, he could hardly believe his eyes. What was the thing? Why was he so surprised? The engine was not there at the place. I looked about and raised a hue and cry. He suddenly looked about, he looked around, he started shouting. So hue and cry means, a clamor, a very loud, confused noise or outcry. He started emitting outcry, very loud noise. Search parties went round. People were running for his engine. They were searching his engine everywhere. Engine was found in a disused well nearby with its backup. And where was the engine? It was lying in the disused well. A well which was unused, and with its backup, and it was upside down. The back was up and the front part of the engine was into the well, because of the earthquake. No, it got shifted and it fell into the well. I prayed to heaven to save me from fresh complication. Now he got scared. Now who? Narrator. He thought now there are going to be more complications, more troubles in his life. But the owner of the house, when he came round and saw what had happened, laughed heartily and beamed at me. But suddenly the owner of the house came out, and when he saw what had happened, that the road engine had fallen into the well, he started laughing heartily and beamed at me. Beamed at me. At me means the narrator. He said, you have done me a service. You have helped me. It was the dirtiest water on earth in that well, and the municipality was sending notice to close it. He says, you have done me a great service, great help. It was the dirtiest water on earth. According to municipality, no, this well had dirtiest water, and I had got so many letters, notices from municipality to close it. Week after week, I was getting notices from them. I was dreading the cost of the closing, but I was scared to pay the cost of the closing the well, because if he wanted to close the well, he needed people to do that. So he was scared of spending the money to do that. But he says, but your engine fits it like a cork. But because of your engine, this well is this well is closed and your engine has fit like a coke. Coke means lid or stopper like in a bottle. So this well was like a bottle, and because of your engine, when it fell into it, it has closed it like a cork stopper or lid. Just leave it there. Now he says, just leave your engine there now. But he say, but there are no buts. I will withdraw all complaints, charges against you. But he's actually confused. The narrator, he says, what about your problems? Last time he had problem with the owner. He say, buts, actually buts means arguments or complaints. He says there are no complaints now. I will withdraw, I will take back all the complaints and charges against you. Build that broken wall. I will build my broken wall myself. Don't worry about that. You had broken my wall. Don't worry about that. I have no complaint now because you had done me a great service. You have filled my unused well. Municipality wanted me to do that. You had done it yourself, and your engine has fit there like a cork. It has up to the brim. So he is very happy now, that owner. Then he says that, but please only leave this thing there. That's hardly enough. He said that's hardly more than enough. You leave that engine there into the well, and then you can go from there. I don't have any grudge. I don't have any complaint. I don't have any but against you. I mentioned a few other expenses that this engine had brought on me. He says, narrator said, I had actually spent a lot of money to bring this engine here. So he agreed to pay for all that owner of the wall and the well. He agreed to pay all his expenses. When I again passed that way some months later, when this narrator was passing from that place, he peeped over the wall. Peep means he looked inside the wall, and he says, I found the mouth of the well neatly cemented up. I heaved a sigh of great relief. Then he says, he found the mouth of the well. The mouth of the well was neatly cemented. It was properly cemented. The owner of that well and the wall, he got it cemented properly, and I heaved a sigh of great relief. Heave a sigh of great relief. It means, I suddenly feel very happy because something unpleasant one expected to happen did not take place. So he was expecting a great disaster, but it did not happen, and he is very happy now. He took a sigh of great relief. That is the end of the chapter. Hope you've enjoyed it. I have certain MCQs now, some questions. Try to answer them one by one. First one, which show came into the city of the narrator? I will count three. 1, 2, 3. So Getty Land is the correct answer. Second one, where was the show set up? 1, 2, 3. Right, at Gymkhana ground. Next one, which prize did the narrator win in the show? 1, 2, 3. Road engine. Very good. Is the writer of the story Engine Trouble? Very simple. R.K. Narayan. How much amount did owner of the Getty Land collect a day? How much amount did the owner of Getty Land collect a day? I will count 3. 1, 2, 3. 500 rupees. Correct. Next one. What was the cost of ticket for each booth to the visitor? What was the cost of the ticket for each booth to the visitor? I will count 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, can you guess? Can you guess the answer? Yes. Couple of annas. Yes, correct answer. Next one. What was the number of the ticket drawn by the narrator? I'll count 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes. That was 1005. Let me go to the last slide. Actually, here the couple of annas is the correct answer. Yes, good. Now, next one. What was the condition laid by showman about carrying the prize? The showman will deliver the prize at home. The owner will have to carry the prize at his own cost. The prize will be kept on ground permanently. The municipality will deliver the prize at home. So the owner will have to carry the prize at his own cost. This is the correct answer. How much amount the showman paid to the driver to bring the engine at Gymkhana ground? 110 rupees, 105 rupees, 120 rupees, 100 rupees. Yes. I give you 1 minute. Kindly guess the answer. One, 2, 3. So 105 rupees. 100 charge and 5 rupees a day. Next one. So kindly read original text, then you will understand more about these questions, and there are so many more questions. So if you see that the driver, so the answer is 105 rupees. Actually, he told him to pay 100, and I think 5 rupees per day. So total 105 rupees. Yes. What is the narrator's solution to the problem in engine trouble? Skipping town, committing suicide, paying his debt, getting a credit card. Take 30 seconds and guess the answer. Read this again. Yes, skipping the town. It's correct one. Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Kindly subscribe and click on the bell icon, because I'm going to make more videos on other chapters so that you'll be well prepared and ready for your online examination. Thank you very much.